Welcome to the President's Podcast at Austin Community College. I am here with our President CEO, Dr. Richard Rhodes. Hi, Dr. Rhodes.
How are you doing?
I am doing well. We have a really exciting conversation happening today. It's May 2019, and we are just a week or so away from our commencement, which is such a magical time at the college.
It is. You know, as president, it's my favorite time of the year. Actually, whenever we have graduation, that is my absolute favorite day. And so I understand, Shermay, you're going to be walking graduation.
Yes, I will be.
Coming up on May the 17th.
Yes,
At the
I'm
Irwin
so excited.
Center.
I'm so excited.
All right. We are too.
Thank you.
And this is Shermay Walogo, one of our graduates coming up this semester with the IT Applications Computer User Support, getting your associate degree. Congratulations.
Thank you
also
so
joining
much.
us today is Dr. Guillermo Willie Martinez. He is our Associate Vice President looking over a lot of our data and analytics. Hi.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
You know, kind of to kick it off, what we're really looking at, focused on at ACC is, you know, in our strategic plan is access and persistence and completion. So
Right.
today we're really going to talk about completion.
Okay.
And we want to hear some of your story as we go along. I'm going to ask Willie first because, you know, why we're focused on that is the statewide goal through the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board is 60 by 30. But in Central Texas here, we already exceed the average of the state. And so actually the goal for Austin Community College is 70 by 30 in Central Texas. So I want to ask Willie if you can just give us an update on how we've been doing as Austin Community College since 60 by 30 was initiated by the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board back in, 2014-15?
2014 and 2015 is going to wind up being the base. So so 60 by 30, for everyone that doesn't know, is we're basically trying to get to 60% of 25 to 34-year-olds will have at least a certificate, some type of higher ed credential. We started off right around 41%, so we have a way to go. Central Texas doing a little bit better, still not that great, but doing a little bit better at about 47, 48. But because we're so much higher, our goal is 70% by 30. Within all that, we basically have to increase our annual certificates and awards, bachelor's, master's, doctorates, everything. We're currently producing right around 310,000. That was our baseline in 2015. We need to be producing 550,000 come 2030. Just between 2015 and 2017, statewide, we've increased by about 10%. 10 percentage points, which is wonderful because that means we're right on our way to hitting that 550,000. ACC, we're kind of forced to produce a little bit more. What's wonderful about it is we have been. Currently, between 2015 and 2017, we've increased our number of awards by 50%. Compared to 10% statewide.
Not 15%, but 50%.
50%, which is 5 times the rate that the statewide is going, which the state's doing great, and we're doing amazing too. And when we talk about equity and things like that, Hispanics are increasing at 75%. We've increased by 75% the number of awards for Hispanics. We've increased the number of black students by 50% also, which compared to the states, right around the 8 to 12%. For blacks and Hispanics. So we're also surpassing our goals there. Overall, it's pointing towards we're going to meet our goal, which we kind of have to, not just for Central Texas, but for statewide, for our economy, for everyone's betterment of their lives.
Right. And coming up, we've got graduation on the 17th. And how many graduates will we have?
So we're expecting 2,100 this spring. Which is going to be our record high. And we've been breaking a record high maybe the last 3-4 years. Yeah. It's been wonderful. Every year we keep increasing it. Every fall we've been increasing it. So I mentioned that we've increased by 50%. We were at 2,900 just a few years ago producing annually. We're up to 4,400. So 2,900 annually. Just alone spring we're going to have 2,100. I mean, we're getting up there. Pretty soon we're going to be hitting the 5,000. Our own strategic plan is trying to get us to 7,500. So we have a lofty goal there also. And I think we'll reach it.
We're going to make it. We're going to make it. And Shermay, so tell us just a little bit about your story.
Honestly, when I first graduated high school, I got an opportunity to go to some pretty major schools, big schools, West Point, Oxford, and stuff like that. I actually got cold feet just moving so far, and so I went to U of H, and I went to U of H for a little bit, and then I started applying for jobs, and I got this really big opportunity to work for EA Games, which I'm not a gamer at all. Like I have games literally still that are in the wrapper, but so I worked with them, and it was actually here in Austin for about 4.5 years. Unfortunately, I got laid off from there. And so basically what happened there, I got an opportunity to come back to school based off my work history, and which work history was in IT, which originally, so from the beginning, my story, I really wanted to be an astronaut. Like I wanted to study to be an astronaut. And so it was so crazy because I was going to all the camps. I literally, my grandmother still has my old books and stuff in her garage. But then I switched it up, and then I wanted to be a podiatrist. That kind of really wasn't a passion, so I didn't really stick through with that. And then just miraculously, I'm in gaming, which I never ever imagined being in gaming. And then so once that happened, the layoff happened. I got the opportunity through government funding with the trade adjustment program, and they offered me to go back to school based off my work history. So I had a list of different schools I could have gone to, just basically with credentials to help me transition into IT. Right. And so, I mean, I could have went to, other universities and stuff like that, but I chose ACC. And I'm so glad that I chose ACC because it's just the connection and just the smaller amount of people, students in the classroom, and then the resources that ACC provides, especially with the new campus, the Highland campus, their accelerator, room that they have with just all different types of computers, and then they have, tutors there that you can come and you can just schedule with, and the professors are really convenient, to if you have a problem, and they're very understanding. And I feel like with a bigger university, you wouldn't really get that. I mean, because you could have up to 200 people in a classroom, so it's me to that 200 is so versus maybe 20, right. So that's pretty much my story. And I've been going to ACC for the last 4 years, which was a huge opportunity, but I also had to sacrifice a whole lot, especially social life too. It's, even though it's community college, you got to keep that focus. So you gotta stay on top, and just being here with family that helps me out too. The support system that I have, and they kind of keep me on my toes too. They're just you start, you finish, and being a first generation degree holder, that's a kind of a little boost there too for me. So.
That is awesome. One of the things that you said is when you were talking about ACC and you talked about the accelerator, you said they have. I'm going to have you change that to we have.
We have, yes.
You are ACC.
Yes, that is right. That is right. That is very correct.
You are us.
Yes, I am. I am, for sure.
Now, one of the things that you told me earlier is that you got a certificate.
Yes.
Along the way.
Yes.
So when we talk about stackable credentialing,
yes,
you're the perfect example of how that happens. So
yes.
Can you tell us just a little bit about that too?
So basically, I started out, and then with the certificate, I thought that it would be enough for me to, transition and get another job. And so some jobs do offer, they do hire when you have certificates, but it's always better to have an actual degree. And so that's what I learned. And so that's why I looked through different resources and things like that to see who I could get outside of the original, program that I was in to help continue my education. And so I found a program that provided that. Basically, they provided funding based off the demand of jobs,
Right.
in the city that we live in. And so once I restarted again, well, not really restarted, continued, right?
Right.
So once I did that, and then now that I'm graduating, so many other job opportunities in higher pay, actually, so,
Right.
and that's a key, just to living, and just the opportunities that opened up now that I actually have a degree in IT and have a degree in such a broad, area, because computer user support in IT applications, you can do anything. You can do, you can do production. You never know what it is. You can
Right.
do radio IT. You can do, I don't know,
Any type of
you can
industry.
take,
Yeah.
exactly. You can take it into anywhere. You
level.
can, medical, IT, I guess you can say, company or job title or anywhere needs an IT person. So with applications and computer user support, you could work for a medical company just teaching the employees how to use the software.
Right.
So it's a wonderful opportunity.
Yeah.
Just with
That-
IT.
Is there a dream field for you?
Actually, I want to create an application. I do music, and I do just a lot of other creative, activities and stuff like that. So I actually want to create an application that basically brings creators and innovators together. Kind of like Instagram or something like that, but that's mainly just for pictures and social life, but for actual creators to have maybe a meetup session, and
Yeah.
whatever city you might be traveling, to California or Illinois or something like that, and then you can look on the app and see, okay, hey, it's another photographer here, or hey, it's another, I don't know, teacup maker or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that, just for creators and stuff like that. That's
Yeah.
really what my dream is. And before that, I know I have, that the saying, you have to crawl before you run, but I feel like just something that I would want to do before I get into the development is working for Apple, in their department of development and stuff
Right,
like that.
right.
And Apple has a really big campus here, so that
It's-
would be awesome to stay here around family
Absolutely.
and in my
Yes.
hometown,
That would be awesome. I think it's the second largest in the world, second
Yeah.
largest campus.
Yep.
Already, and they're going to add.
And they're gonna add, yeah. So I've been reading up on that, and they're planning to build their own little community, here
Right.
in Austin, and that'd be great. They're gonna have housing and everything
Right.
on that campus, so
Yeah.
that'd be fun. Where you live? On Apple's campus. I live at Apple. So,
Well, to show you, my oldest daughter actually works for Apple
Oh,
in San
awesome.
Jose. She's been with them for about 21 years.
okay, cool.
It is
cool.
a fantastic company to
Yes,
work for.
yes.
So, good luck on that.
Thank you.
One of the things you were talking about too is, and it's hard to believe. I look at you and you told me you're 30.
Yes, I'll be 30 in 30 days
called
to
her
today.
out.
That is
I know,
amazing.
right?
That is
Call me
amazing.
out.
I
Yeah.
know.
Call me out. But yeah, yes, I am 30. But with that being said, I don't look at it as some people will say, well, why did you wait so long to, finish school or go back to school? And I feel like ACC is not only the opportunity for an individual to take the first step, but it also creates an opportunity for a second chance. So, and that's kind of how I looked at it. I didn't finish at U of H or from a big, university, but I did come to ACC and I did finish, and I do have a creditable, degree, and
Yeah.
it's in IT. So
Absolutely.
who can blame you for that?
That is great. And you had mentioned that you stopped out of higher education for a
Yes.
period of time. What was the hardest thing about going back?
The hardest thing, just getting back into the swing of school, just committing that time to, going to class and, just doing the homework and then the hours that you have to put in to studying. I feel like most people that hasn't experienced the college, college life, you really have to put in valuable time into studying if you want to, succeed and complete and finish. And so that was really, my main struggle, and just going from full-time work to part-time work,
Right.
and then just, changing your lifestyle and the way that you live. You have to make some adjustments. You have to budget. You have to, time management was the biggest, the biggest hardship, because it's just your whole life changes.
Yeah.
But if you want it, bad enough, you will make that sacrifice, and it will become just a nature to you.
Yeah.
Once you get into it, and you have to really want it. So
You do, and you've got it.
thank you.
And you're going to continue. So I'm going to ask Willie a quick question that is, as you look at the successes of ACC and the numbers of graduates and in the graduation rate, if you could attribute a few things, what would you say is helping make that happen?
A lot of it, I really push back to a lot of the work we're doing with Guided Pathways. And with Guided Pathways, it's one of the great questions for students. How much do you ever hear about Guided Pathways?
Actually, not that much. Not
And-
that much at all.
And I think that's probably an area of improvement, maybe where we could hit more on marketing, communicating what Guided Pathways is to our students,
Right.
not just to our faculty and staff and everything. Because I think that has contributed to the rise in the graduation numbers. Because through Guided Pathways, one of the things we've been trying to do is trying to build better relationships. How much can we help our students, and what do they need? Not everybody needs everything, but you might need this, you might need this, you might need this, depending on where you are in life. And what we're trying to do is do a better job of paying attention and trying to figure out and trying to see and look at all these data points and try to figure out where is it that there's a big group of people, a big group of students that we can help.
Right.
Within all that, I say, trying to build better relationships with our students. We're trying to also build better relationships within ourselves. And that's one of the things, that was kind of step one. Step one was, let's break down every silo that exists across the college, and let's come together and work towards student success. Number one is the students. Can we do better? Yeah, we can do better. And that's actually one of the questions I had for you, also, having a student right here, talking about graduation.
Find
You
out
know,
all your answers.
What's one of the things that we could do better as an institution to promote graduation?
Goes back to what you said with Guided Pathways. Just here on campus, and just maybe in classrooms, provide maybe have a little compartment on the wall with maybe a little brochure, because what I see happens a lot is a student may start school, but then they may stop. But if they know that they have, resources and the ability to have access to someone that will help them along that pathway, I feel like that would give them more confidence to stick it out. Because, like I said earlier, they don't know what they have, ahead of them, especially coming out of high school. Right. They don't know the hardships that they're going to face. So if there's resources there and they see, just different places that there are resources there to help them out, I think that would be a great deal to add, to the different campuses. Right. Because where I got my guidance was through the programs and stuff, that the funding programs that I went through, and they really stick on you. They stay on you, your grades, and they make sure they provide outside resources, if you need anything, to help you study, or if you need an extra book or something like that. Although ACC, we do provide that, but a lot of people don't know where to start out and where to go. But it's here. You just got to find it,
And we got to communicate,
right,
and
communicate. But overall, all the resources that ACC does provide, it's spot on. It's great. It's awesome in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure other graduates. I mean, because they've taken the same journey, not probably exactly, but we've walked the same path. So,
Right.
Obviously it's here and with the increasing rates, so.
Yeah, because we've increased the supports, and we
have.
continue
Yeah.
to increase supports, and we're going to continue to keep doing it.
Yeah. One of the mantras that we talk about now at Austin Community College is innovation plus collaboration equals transformation. You're the example of transformation of what happens. Innovation, you talked a little bit about the accelerator. That's an innovative space that doesn't exist at other colleges to speak
Right.
of, at least to that large of an extent.
Scale.
But also collaboration. And one of the things you talked about is the other helps along the way.
Yes.
And one of our greatest partners and collaborators is Capital Idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so you were with Capital
Yes,
Idea.
yes.
And they're the ones that provide that kind of wraparound support services and the nudging and the pushing,
The pushing, yes.
and questioning and making sure you stayed on track.
Yes.
How important, I mean, I think I heard it from you, how critical that was to have that extra nudge, that extra push and support.
Yes, because it's so easy to, fall out of focus. It's so easy to fall out of focus. And with Capital Idea, they meet with you twice a month. You have a progressive plan or kind of like guideline sheet that you go by with them. They also their standards of grades. You have to make sure that you maintain a B. So that's really really important to have that person or those counselors
Right.
on you to make sure that you're staying on the right path because they want you to succeed as well, So, and then, you have a lot on the line. You start something, you got to finish it.
You do.
My grandparents,
Yeah.
and I keep saying that, my grandparents instilled that into me young. You start something, you got to finish it.
Right.
Whether, it takes you a while or, you stay on that time path. But when I say take you a while, I'm almost 30, and I'm here today, but I made it happen, So
Yeah.
and it's just with those other programs and also another program, workforce and stuff like that. So there are resources and there are programs and stuff that can help you out, and to keep you on track, and it's very crucial. It's
Yeah.
crucial, and I say crucial in a good way, because they're gonna stay on you to
Yes.
finish.
Yeah.
So
Now, one of the good things is our Board of Trustees, just this last Monday night, approved our second bachelor's degree. And so it is a bachelor's degree in IT.
yes,
And hopefully, we still have to get approval through the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board and SACS, our accrediting body. But hopefully, we'll start our first cohort next spring of 2020. Are you going to be one of our students?
yes, I'm gonna be the first person signed up. I promise. No, I mean, I love education. I love learning, whether it's in a school setting or it's just out in the real world. I ask questions. I want to know. If I don't know how to do something, I will self-teach myself. I'll look it up and read about it. Or even if I hear something like on TV and I don't know what the word is or I don't know where it is, I'll look it up. But I'm excited and I'm hopeful and I'm ready to go. If it was approved and we could start tomorrow, I would be
You'd
like,
be there?
I would be there bright and early.
Well, for now, we will celebrate your achievements thus far, your certificate, now your associate degree.
Yes.
You mentioned your first in your family, and I'm sure that they can't
Yes.
wait to celebrate that with
Yes, they're so excited too,
Yeah.
especially my grandmother and my grandfather.
Are they going to be
They're-
at graduation?
Yes,
All
they will.
right,
They will
all
be
right.
there. They will be there.
Don't forget to wave to them.
I won't. I
you.
won't.
We'll wave to you too.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's really a great story to see your successes and to hear about the successes of all of our students. And we know we want to continue improving, and that's where the extra support that's coming on board that you mentioned, Willie, really starts to come into play. And so we look forward to seeing those numbers continue to climb and more success stories like yours, Shermay.
Thank you so much.
And Shermay, we are so proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate
and thank you
that.
so much for taking time to visit with us this morning.
No
I love your
problem.
story. And even though we have a University of Houston graduate, I am so glad that you decided
here.
to come to ACC.
For sure.
We all made it here to ACC eventually,
That's
right?
right.
We're all here and we're
We're all
celebrating
here.
the great work happening. Go
Oh,
ahead.
no, I was just going to say I appreciate you guys having me. And it was great talking and sharing my story.
I think it's something a lot of people can be inspired by and relate to your journey and your pathway. Everybody's has a slightly different pathway, but in the end, we're all still here trying to do one thing, which is to get that credential that we know will lead to a better life for ourselves, for our families, and in the whole picture, our community too.
Yes. Yes.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Willie, for joining us in this conversation, and Shermay as well. Hearing your insights and your story is always inspirational and makes my day just great.
Yeah. The great thing about Willie is he's constantly looking at the data, but the purpose he's looking at the data, the whole reason is to see how can we improve the processes and the supports that we provide to our students. And so I just want to say thank you, Willie, for looking at the data to make us a better institution and giving us the right information.
Well, thank you. I'll keep doing it.
All right.
There we
All
go.
right.
You heard it there. This has been the President's Podcast at Austin Community College with Dr. Richard Rhodes. Thank you for joining.